This is a 2025 Chevrolet Suburban High Country with a diesel. And in this video, I'm going to go over all the pros and cons to the new Duramax diesel. I borrowed this SUV from Seiner Chevrolet here in Salt Lake City. It is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see options and features on this build. At the very top is a description with the colors, which is sterling gray metallic. And then here's a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause to see more. Base price comes in at $84,700. Starting off the options is the High Country Deluxe for $47,855. Also technology and entertainment for $24,995. Black bow tie emblems, first and second row all weather floor mats. And the diesel gives you a $1,500 credit. Destination comes in at $1,995 with a total price of $92,175. And here are the Philly commenters off to the side. What are you guys' thoughts on the refresh? To this day, I think it looks way better than the previous model years, for sure. A little bit cleaner design too. Now you guys saw the window sticker, you got a credit for that Duramax diesel, right? That is a huge advantage, getting that engine over the 6.2 liter. And at the low end, this diesel will probably shoot off the line for sure. Now in the mid-range and up top, that's where that 6.2 is going to be a better engine. But for sure, with the fuel economy advantage and yeah, the fact that this gives you a credit is a huge pro for the diesel for sure. But on the front end, you guys see they do black out a lot of the grille, and they give you this satin finish in the center part of the grille here. You have some bright chrome around the bow tie, with that blackout was an option here. There is a camera right there. Front parking sensors. Fog lights were not available in High Country last year, remember that? And they do give you more parking sensors on the side. On the hood, that is pretty much a carryover. By the way, more satin down below on that bumper. And then independent front suspension with air suspension added to it, which is an option. They do stiffen this lower control arm, aluminum steer knuckle, fabric material for the liner, and then here are the tires. These are the Bridgestone Alenza tires, 275/50, 22-inch wheel, 6 lug. By the way, 4 piston brakes. And these tires are going to have 2,408 pounds of capacity, and max PSI is 44. I'll show you guys the yellow sticker here in a second. There is an option to black out some of the badging too. Let's go ahead and check out the side view. Power deployable running boards are an option for Suburban High Country too, so just keep that in mind. You can also get 24-inch wheels if you like too. Those power deployable running boards do have perimeter lighting, turn signals on the mirrors, some black painted trim, more cameras to make up that 360 camera view. And this one does have blind spot monitoring. On the door handles, they have some chrome and some paint. Smart key systems for the front and rear doors, which is pretty typical. Independent rear suspension. Let's go ahead and step up here too. There's your twin panel, which is an option. No rear glass, however. You can get that on a Wagoneer L when you get that roof. This is where you're going to fill up at. Your DEF systems there. More parking sensors. They still give you the quad tip exhaust even with the diesel, which is nice. They hide that windshield wiper. They give you the black trimming. They clear out the tail lights. You have 2 cameras here. This glass does come open too. And of course you have a power lift gate. They do have that hitch. Great storage below the floor here. Also, you have the power seats. This thing has tons of storage behind the third row. They do give you a light right here. Also 120 volt power plug. You have tie downs. And to put this back down, just hit the button. Alright, you guys ready to talk about this brand new diesel option? Let's go. So how would you know if you had this Duramax diesel for the Suburban or Tahoe? The only way you could tell is if you look out back on the tailgate. They have one Duramax badge. That's it. Now if you don't know, this is a whole new diesel engine for 2025. They reintroduced this engine back in 2022, so they've been using it. So if you're thinking about, oh, I don't want to buy the first model year, this engine's been used for like 3 years now. They just took a long time to put it inside of the SUVs. So this is a 3-liter inline 6 design, just like the LM2 that it replaces. The LZ0 has a ton of updates. Let's go through them really quickly. Up first, new steel piston design. Compression was increased to 15.2 to 1. Also new fuel injectors through Denso, which is probably the biggest improvement. Has a Denso fuel pump, so reliability should be top notch on this engine too. Thicker cylinder block inserts, revised turbocharger, new water pump with increased impeller size, which is going to give you greater coolant flow rate capacity. Revised cooling system, revised glow plugs, so they do use ceramic glow plugs on this too. And they do have a longer interval for the oil pump belt, which is my least favorite thing about this engine. So with all the updates to this overbuilt diesel, it has 305 horsepower, which is a 28 horsepower increase over the LM2, and 495 pound-feet of torque. That is a huge increase, which is basically 35 pound-feet over that LM2. So yes, they did increase the power and it's more reliable. Also, all that power does go through a 10-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and check out the interior. On the interior, the High Country definitely did get some nice updates. And their seat memories. They give you some satin finish around some of the buttons here. Power folding outside mirrors, perforated leather, some of that brown stitching. And by the way, this wood is porous, so you can feel that. On the seats, 12-way, including the lumbar, which goes up and down. High Country badge. And you guys see your all-weather floor mats. And here's some of the controls on the side. Electronic parking brake, 360 camera, parking sensors can be disabled, auto stop start can be disabled, traction control, downhill assist, self-parking, and then lane keep assist is there. Four-wheel drive system, and then this is how you dim this 11-inch screen and your trailer brake. Let's go ahead and check out the passenger side. Way seat on this side, and then check out the attention to detail. Perforated leather. They do give you a High Country badge there. The only thing I would like to see is just a wider seat overall, and for some people just a little bit softer, not too much softer though. Grab handle only on the passenger side up front, black liner, and more of that wood is right here. High Country badge. And then here's your glove box. On the side, more leather, a little bit of storage here. This does slide, which I'll show you in a second. Let's go ahead and check out the rear. You guys saw these 12.6 inch screens came part of that Tech Entertainment. More of that perforated leather. These seats are going to be heated too, and these seats have a bunch of controls too. You can have them flip up like this. Getting back here is pretty easy. You do have a passageway in the center, and on the side they give you a USB, a little bit of storage there, and they give you a leather wrapping for the armrest. 3 across, 60/40 bench in the rear. Now the only thing about this second row is, I just noticed this, you can't power these seats to recline. So these third row seats do not recline. I don't think that that's the case for a lot of the competitors, so that might be a negative for GM there, so they got to fix that quickly. Also, you guys see there, climate control, you have HDMIs for those screens, 120 volt power plug. You can see those all-wheel floor mats for that second row, and you can see that large sunroof there. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the passenger seat. I won't spend too much time for the interior because I've done a few videos. I just want to go over the pros and cons to this diesel for you guys in this one. But I'll show you a few things. So you have your backup camera. You can also do a side view. Now notice how you don't have hard buttons for your heated and ventilated seats down below. You do have climate control buttons still, but a lot of your controls are on the screen. For example, if you go here, all this information here is in the screen. Also, if you want your remotes to be added to this system, it has to go through the screen now. In the past, it was either here or here. Now it's in there. But you have up to 8, which is a big advantage versus the 3 that you had before. Now, if you go back here really quickly, you have more controls. You can control your power assist steps, and auto park assist is inside of here, blind zone steering assist, all that stuff is hidden inside the screen now. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. You have this, shows you some gauges like this. Also your trip information is now here versus going in this screen. You only have this button for this screen, and they have multiple menus. You can add information like your trip information to this screen if you would like to do that, and the only way you do that is by clicking, and then you just hit, it would say add to driver display or remove from display. But yeah, heads up display is up here. You can disable it too if you want. I don't think it's on though. It's definitely not on, but if you want to turn it on, you guys probably saw HUD is heads up display, so now you can see it. Just above here are the vanity mirrors. You also can control that sunroof. You can probably see this button here does slide this guy. You have some hidden storage right there. You can also slide this up some if you're a little bit shorter. It's pretty cool, right? And this illuminated storage area, cup holders, 2 USBs, and wireless charger. So let's go ahead and discuss really quickly the pros and cons to getting the diesel over that 6.2 liter. So obviously we already covered it is a $1,500 credit for the high country because of that 6.2 liter, right? That's a big advantage for some people because you're getting a little bit of a discount and you're going to get better fuel economy. And now the downside is you have to use DEF, which is diesel exhaust fluid, and that's going to cost you something. Although you probably should be able to go about 1,000 miles or more depending on the climate and how you use your Suburban, because if you tow with it, that's going to burn more DEF. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you're an avid city driver, or if you like to idle a ton, this may not be the engine option for you because of the emissions control features on this. Those things are just detrimental to diesel engines, and when that diesel particulate filter gets filled with soot, unfortunately that will just require you to get on the highway and burn fuel you don't want to burn just to get that thing clean. So yes, there's a lot of pros and cons to owning the diesels these days. Hopefully they kind of relax some of those things in the future. I doubt it. And I think the biggest benefit you have is this engine is overbuilt. They revised it for this year, so it's a lot better than the previous one. Also, you probably heard there is a belt-driven oil pump that has to get done, and that's not a cheap service, so that's something you have to consider as well. Diesel is typically a little bit cheaper compared to premium fuel. I would say that that would be a big advantage to having the diesel, because if you're getting the 6.2, even though it's recommended, you lose horsepower and torque by not burning the 93. But if you're someone who's on the highway constantly, you're driving 30-40 miles a day, or if you do a lot of road trips, this is 100% the way to go. Now we're gonna go over the tow numbers on the door here in a second, but I think that for the type of money that it costs you to get the diesel, it's truly worth it. But if you're someone that's going to be doing a lot of driving in the city, a lot of idling, I think that the diesel might not be the engine for you. Let's go ahead and check out one last feature on the interior, and then I'm going to show you guys numbers for towing. Air suspension is right here. So if you would like to increase the ride height or even lower it for like entry exit, you have to push the button and then swipe it left or right. Swiping it right raises it, and then swiping it left lowers it. Now you guys probably noticed too, you do have drive modes for this too, and when you put it in tow haul mode, you see that it did, hopefully you guys saw that, it says exhaust brake on. So yes, this has the exhaust brake with tow haul mode basically. Let's go ahead and check out the towing numbers. Gross axle weight rating out front, 3,800 pounds. If you can't see, the rear is 4,300 pounds. 7,700 pound gross vehicle weight rating, and then 22/9 wide wheels. And then here is the towing capacity, 7,800 pounds for the diesel. Payload is 1,266 pounds. 14,500 pound gross combined weight rating, which is truck and trailer. Yeah, and then tire pressure is 36 psi. I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I am going to be doing a drive video, but I figured I could do a quick drive, but I want to do it comparing it with the 6.2, obviously, so that way you have a good comparison with that engine. So stay tuned. I will do an MPG run, performance, all that good stuff. All right, and I'll give you guys my impressions later.